Hey everyone, welcome to another High Guardian Spice review. We are on episode 4, and the theme of this episode is parental issues! You get parental issues, and you get parental issues! It's following 2 different stories. Well, kind of like 3 different stories. So it's not as bad as following the 3 different stories from episode 3, and then having those stories have nothing to do with each other. All of these stories have this same theme of having issues with your parents. So how we start off this episode, I feel like I don't understand what this opening scene exactly was trying to do here. Feel free to fill me in the best you can. Maybe this is just something that isn't clicking with my brain, but I'm pretty sure that the scenes in this opening scene might have been out of order. So we open up the episode with Sage and Rosemary and Parsley trying to get their knockoff mimic Chompy to eat Sage's stuff so that they can pack for the weekend, because I assumed they were off for the weekend, and the idea is they're gonna go hang out with their parents or their relatives. Time comes into the room, and as it turns out, they're trying to pack Sage's stuff in Time and Parsley's room.
Hello? What are you doing in my room?
Try to figure that one out. Time comes in, she's like, why are you in my room? They explain the situation. Time says,
have you tried asking nicely?
Please, will you carry our things?
So Parsley asks Time what she's doing for the weekend, and she basically says that she's going to sleep in the woods while the academy empties out. Now here's the part that confuses me the most. Are they required to leave the academy on the weekend? And then right as I'm thinking that, like, why does she have to leave the academy? Right at that moment, one of the professors bursts through the door and explains that the crabs that we saw in the episode previously were all released into the classes, and now there's an infestation that the teachers have to take care of, so all the students are required to leave. Seems like something that should have been set up in the episode previously, right? Because they introduced those crab things in the episode before this one, but nothing really. What caused the infestation? I don't know. So now there's a reason why Time can't stay at the academy for the weekend. But this is for some reason established after Time says that she has to leave the academy for the weekend. So I assume they meant for those scenes to be switched. I assume that they meant for the professor to burst through the doors and announce that they have to leave the academy for the weekend, and then they ask Time, where are you gonna stay at for the weekend? To which she would answer, oh, I'll probably just camp out in the woods while the academy empties out. So Parsley invites Time to stay with her over the weekend rather than sleeping out in the woods. There's also a bunch of cats hanging around, and they belong to no one. They don't really do anything with this information, of course, but the spooky mystery. Anyway, so Parsley takes Time home with her, meet her parents and meet her brothers and whatnot. For some reason, this is the first time that Time is meeting them, even though in the first episode we saw her go to the blacksmith. And while Parsley is coming back home, she finds out that her mother had a new baby girl who looks like a demon. Meanwhile, of course, Sage and Rosemary are staying with Sage's cousins, and her arm is not on that armrest. It's not even close. So Sage's cousin actually gives her a present, and it turns out to be a tarot sphere, but it's too big for her, so they decide, oh, don't worry about that. We'll go to the shop, we'll pick you out a new one. That'll be your real present, plus you'll get to pick it yourself. It's more meaningful that way. And Sage is clearly uncomfortable with being given a tarot sphere because her mother despises new magic, and therefore she assumes she's not allowed to use it. Now, you would think that her cousin would be giving her this present unaware that her mother is against new magic, but no. At the end of the episode, it shows that she clearly knew that her mother hates new magic and just does this anyway. Getting back to Parsley's story, she finds out that her parents actually don't want her to go to school anymore. They want her to come back home and help out with the family, help out with the business, because they just had a new baby girl and things are going to get a little hectic, as if they weren't already hectic. Parsley doesn't really want to talk to them about it right now, so she leaves the dinner table and she sits on the roof, because that's what the animes do. The next day, Sage goes to the Terrorsphere shoppy, and that's where we meet the best character, Slime Boy.
I am Slime Boy.
You're what now?
That's what everyone calls me. I kind of like that. It's the same. Slime, and then boy.
God, I love him. Sage finds a Terrorsphere that she actually likes, and I gotta say, the way that they approach Sage getting into new magic, it really feels like she's addicted to some drug, because she's like heavy breathing, like
We'll take it.
Yeah, okay. Alright.
We get back to Parsley, who is getting up the next morning angry, and Time's mother actually comes to the blacksmith shop to have her scissors repaired, and of course she finds out that Time was staying there, to which she is a little bit insulted by, like, why did you come stay here? Why didn't you come visit me? I'm your mom. And things are a little bit tense, so of course Parsley's mother invites Time's mother to dinner, because that's what you do when tensions are high. Time walks out, and her mother goes after her to talk, and Parsley has some comment like, man, I really don't like the way that her mother treats her. And this opens up into a whole discussion about how Parsley doesn't want to be responsible for taking care of her family. She wants to go live her own life. But all of this tension between the mothers and the daughters are broken by the fact that outside, one of her brothers has climbed up on the roof, so Time and Parsley have to work together in order to save said brother. Phew! Good thing we had a brother trying to kill himself in order to break the tension. Now we get back to Sage's story with her cousin, to where she finally explains why she feels so uncomfortable accepting the Terrorsphere. And she has all these frustrations that she lets out about how she's made fun of at school and how she can't really participate as much at school because she can only use old magic, but also her worries of upsetting her mother by using new magic. Now this is where things get a little controversial, because her cousins proceed to talk shit on her mother in front of her, because that's appropriate. The elf girl straight up calls her mom a hypocrite because her mom had a phase in her life where she once used new magic also. Now, someone should probably teach the elf girl what a hypocrite means, because that's not what hypocrites are people who preach something that they do not currently practice. If you once did something and learned from that experience to not do something and then preached about how you should not do that something, that's learning from experience and teaching from experience. That's not being a hypocrite. If Sage's mother were practicing new magic behind her back, then that's a hypocrite. But anyway, basically, her cousin says that I wasn't always this edgy, your mom did it first. I'm not the original, I'm the cheap copy. And the lesson to take from this is because your mom used new magic, it's okay if you use new magic. And I get that new magic is not supposed to be a bad thing, and they're trying to show you that new magic is not a bad thing throughout the show. This was not the way to approach that subject, though. Saying that, oh, well, your mom did it once, so therefore it's okay, is not a proper argument to make. My mom used to be a drug addict. That doesn't make it okay for me to do drugs. But regardless, Sage just says, oh, yeah, fuck my mom. I guess it's okay if I use new magic now, and accepts the Terrorsphere. We get back to Time and her mother. Her mom tries to kind of talk out the situation, but it seems like Time is just giving her the no one understands me vibe here. So her mom is just like, you know what, talking's too hard. She just leaves. Parsley and her mother, on the other hand, actually do make up. And I guess it's vaguely connected to her saving her brother. vaguely connected. Basically, her mom's just like, you know, we need you here at the house, and you saving your brother clearly shows how much we lean on you. So therefore, you should leave? Hang on. I think they figured out that it's not good to lean on your daughter that much, and the idea is they want her to be able to lean on them. So she decides, we'll support you in whatever you do. Which is not, you know, that's not bad. That's not a bad way to wrap up Parsley's story. You know what else? The little baby dwarf has like a cute hammer and anvil as a play toy. That's adorable. And I guess that's about all the good things I can say about this episode. But the whole Sage story kind of leaves a bitter taste in my mouth. And Time's story is kind of, well, it's not really a story. It's just kind of like introducing you to tension between her and her mother, but it's not really explaining yet why that tension exists. Parsley's story is a little bit generic. I know that there's definitely other like animes out there where they have a similar story of a high schooler who's like being pressured to drop out of high school to help with the family business. And I assume maybe that's where they're taking their inspiration from when it comes to Parsley's story. But this is just kind of introduced and quickly resolved, and I theorized that maybe the reason why this conflict is introduced is just to, once again, keep with that theme of all the girls having parental issues. At the end, they have a scene where Rosemary like looks at the picture of her mom and she's like a little bit sad for a moment, like, aw, my parents aren't here to have parental issues with. But yeah, that's High Guardian Spice episode 4. Obviously, there's not too much to talk about. If you have any thoughts or opinions on this episode, leave them down in the comments section below. Anything that I missed or anything that you would like to clarify that maybe I didn't get. If you enjoyed my review and hopefully found it insightful in any way, remember to like the video. If you'd like to see more of these reviews, you gotta subscribe, otherwise I'm not doing them. What is it, like 80% of you ain't subscribed? Get on that shit. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. Till then, bye!
What you need, Bumbleseed?
Program restart. Shutting down all systems.